Hey you guys, it's Peter. And I'm back. Of course I'm back, I'm not going anywhere. I'm so YouTuber famous now you wouldn't even know what to do with me if you saw me. Oh God, what a day. I'm at the laundromat. I love the smell of Gain. You guys are like, see, I can even throw this in here, Gain, which they're probably family owned and operated, and now they're on a gay man's YouTube channel. Get over it. I'm a consumer, and I'll buy and I'll endorse the products that I want to, like Starbucks, like Lip Smacker's Barks Root Beer Chapstick, because I'm a consumer, and I'll talk about whatever friggin' products I want to talk about as a consumer on my channel, but that's not what we're talking about. Kind of, it really is, actually. What we're talking about today is advertisers pulling from YouTube. And this is going to be like kind of like my mixed opinion response to all of this, because so many people are talking about it on YouTube right now and all this kind of stuff. And so I wanted to do a little video about it, addressing it. And really the reason why I decided finally to was that Keemstar put out a video, I think it was 2 days ago. It was a great video because he also addresses Marina Joyce in the video and why she went left of center last year. I mean, did she ever come back? Like, I mean, now she's making these normal videos. I don't know. But anyway, so I was watching this video, and, you know, in there, Keemstar talks about it, and he talks about how they had supported Coke because Coke was standing with YouTube and YouTube creators, and that he had, like, instigated this thing for, like, everybody to hashtag something like stand with Coke or support Coke or whatever. But then Coke withdrew from YouTube as well, and he hadn't known that, so he was like talking about it, and he was talking about how all these huge advertisers are pulling from YouTube because of extremist content, right? And this kind of like follows in line with all the videos that people are talking about with restricted content on YouTube, which is interesting to me that people on a regular basis contact me and say, I have the parental, you know, what do you call it, settings on my, you know, tablet or my laptop because my 3-year-old or my 5-year-old wants to watch Peppa Pig, you know, or Scooby-Doo or Ninja Turtles or whatever. And what's interesting is your videos don't come up, you know, where you're talking about normal stuff, but Onision's parody videos of hitting women, those videos come up just fine. So it's interesting how these policies apply to some but not to others. I don't know, is Onision making too much money for YouTube? So, but that can't be the case, because a lot of YouTubers that are making a lot of money for YouTube, they're like hurting as well. So I was thinking about all this, and then I was watching this video that Keemstar put out, and Keemstar, I salute you, Keemstar. He does this really cool thing in there. He says that he is demonetizing his videos, and he is encouraging bigger YouTubers to demonetize their videos as well, or some of their videos, so that smaller YouTubers can get the revenue, because the problem is there just aren't enough ads to go around, okay? What an awesome thing that Keemstar, as part of the YouTube community, okay, is willing to demonetize his videos in the sake of smaller channels being able to grow. And I think that's really a cool thing, you know? And I think if more of us came together through all of this as a community, instead of, you know, trying to challenge each other or one-up each other, or, you know, like, oh, this is my competition, whatever. We are each our own worst competition. And what I mean by that is, there's nobody out there that's my competition, because there's enough YouTube videos, there's enough YouTube interest going around, that if I'm doing the best content that I possibly can, if I'm being the truest to myself, if I'm putting out content that people want to watch, then I really don't have any, I don't really have any competition, do I? So it's not about that. Now, it's interesting as a viewer, because if you guys have watched my channel for a while, you'll know that I started all of this as an uber fan of YouTube that just like loved YouTube and all these YouTubers, and I've watched them for years, and the Glozell Greens and the Kingsleys and the Joseph Birdsongs and the Tyler Oakleys and the Keemstars and, you know, all of these Philip DeFrancos and the Trisha Paytases and the Shane Dawsons and all these people I had watched for years and years and years, right? And Shep689, RJ and Will, I have to give them a shout out because they were the originals for me that I really got into YouTube and watching it on a daily basis. And, you know, it's all these people welcoming us into their lives. Now flip that, and all of these people are upset because they're not making money anymore. And in fact, none of those people, I don't think that I've just mentioned, but I have heard some people say to the effect of, what am I supposed to do now? Get a real job? And I think what's disconcerting about that as a viewer is that we relate to you, okay? And I'm speaking to the YouTube creator right now as a viewer. We relate to you because we see you as just people like us, right? And we're fascinated following your life story because we relate to it. You know, just like I think some people relate to my story. Some people don't. Some people don't have to, they don't even have to watch my story then if you don't relate to it. But some people do, you know, and I think that's really what YouTube is about, is falling in love with people that either have a life that we wish we had, or we relate to the life that they do have, or the things they talk about, right? So to then flash forward and have them bitching and complaining about how they're not making any money off of YouTube anymore, yada, 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 what am I supposed to do now? Get a real job. After 6 or 8 or 10 of these videos, I'm kind of shouting at the computer screen, yeah, go get a real job. That's what the rest of us have to do. That being said, it's hard because as a YouTube creator, you know, I go in and, like, for me, I've said this a million times on my channel, on my YouNow streams, on my vlog and whatever. I started this whole get-go, you know, this gig, this hocus pocus, this supernatural, this magic. I started my YouTube channel on BookTube. I was at the time that I started, which was May 11th of last year, I was posting 2, sometimes 3 videos a day, okay? And my revenue a month was very, very small. I mean, literally, okay? Like, we're not even talking steak dinner a month, right? So for me, it was never about the money. It's never been about the money for me. And then everybody's probably will demonetize your videos then. And, you know, that's a really good point. And so what I've decided to do is that I am going to start demonetizing some of my videos. And, you know, for other YouTubers out there. And I think if all of us as a community start demonetizing some of our videos, not all of them, some of them, then I think that the chances of us growing together as a community and allowing YouTube to continue to exist for the creator and for the viewer, because eventually what's going to happen is advertisers are going to come back around, okay? Because the reality is, whether or not Gain is family owned and operated, gay men still use it, okay? Extremist people still use Gain. Because why? Because we love when our clothes smell like it. So it really isn't about the extremist stuff and who you're offending. And, you know, like the majority of the people that watch YouTube videos anyway are not so offended by that stuff that they don't have a problem turning it off and going to the next video, right? I don't. If I watch a video that I'm turned off by the content, I just go to the next video. I just turn it off and so whatever. And, you know, I think that eventually what will happen is these advertisers, if they were smart, will come back. YouTube is huge right now. There are millions and millions and millions of subscribers on YouTube. There are millions and millions of channels. I'll be honest with you. If I was a business right now with all of these people pulling their advertisements from YouTube, I'd go in and I go, buy, buy, buy. I mean, it's like the crash, you know? It's like I would go in there right now and call YouTube and say, I want my ads on everything. And what's really interesting about this is one ad in particular constantly shows up in my videos, and it's Ty Lopez's. And Ty Lopez is the YouTuber that talks about like how to make money, how to make a lot of money, how to be self-sufficient, all this kind of stuff. It's interesting to me that all of a sudden his ads are everywhere, right? And is he like taking total advantage of this and saying, if all of these people are going to pull their ads, I'm putting my ads in there, then everybody will see my videos, right? Because that would really be the smart thing to do right now if you were a company. If everybody's pulling from YouTube, right now would be the time as a business to put your ads on YouTube. I mean, it would be the smartest move marketing wise to do it. So eventually, I mean, YouTube is not going to be obsolete. Okay. YouTube is not going to just fold. It's just not, right? And it's not going to end up just being all of these family vloggers, of which I have no issue with, and I watch some of them, but let's just be for real, okay? YouTube is going to continue to grow. YouTube as we know it today is not going to be the YouTube that we know 10 years from now. Things are going to change and things are going to happen, but these advertisers are going to come back around, trust me. There's just too much money to be made with it, right? But until that happens, I think that we have to help each other out. I think that we have to see each other as a YouTube community of viewers and of creators, right? We have to be willing to say, okay, right now it's going to be a little tough. I mean, we're not in the greatest part of our economy anyway. So it's like, how much of this has to do with YouTube and the extremist stuff, and how much of this has to do with just the economy in general, you know? I mean, if you're an advertiser or if you're a business and you're putting ads on YouTube and you're not getting any revenue from that, and you can see that by tracking it, chances are you probably are going to pull your ads, because you're going to be like, what's the point? I'm not making any money off of it anyway, if that makes sense, right? I mean, I think it goes a little deeper than just company X pulls their ads from YouTube because of extremist videos. I think there's a lot more that goes into that. But that being said, Keemstar, who I consider to be a little extremist himself with his views. I mean, he's putting out drama and opinions and all that kind of stuff. And hey, I love him. When I want the drama, I go to Keemstar. He gives it to you. He gives it to you quick. He gives it to you honest, and he gives it to you hilarious, right? And I appreciate that. And I appreciate that he always contacts the YouTuber that he's going to talk about, right? So I watch a lot of his videos. I pretty much watch all of his videos. So when I was sitting there watching it, and he said that he was going to demonetize his video so that smaller channels could get the ads, I was like, you know what, dude, this speaks volumes for you as a person. I mean, and he goes in there and he shows, if you guys go watch the video, I'll link it below. He goes in there and he talks about, like, he won't talk about how much money he was making, because you're not supposed to do that, but he talks about, like, in percentages, how much he's lost. And he's literally making like 80% less than he was making before, which, if you think about that, if you got an 80% cut in salary tomorrow, you'd be like, what? Like, I'm quitting this job. So I don't know. I think the good question is, maybe a lot of these YouTubers need to, you know, start thinking about what are they going to do if YouTube is not making as much money for you as it did, you know? I think the other thing is that for some of us that are older, this is not our main gig, you know? And I'm talking about older all the way, you know, people want to put me at 60. I'm not 60, I'm 44. And, you know, but so I think all the way from like 30 to, let's say, 60, I think that age group in there that's on YouTube, I think we know, having had several careers in our lives, or having had a lot of financial change or whatever, that, you know, might want to put all your eggs in one basket. And I think that what's really scary to me is that I see a lot of younger YouTubers that are putting up channels at 17, 18, 19, and they're like, okay, and then they make like $1 million in the first year or two, and they're like, this is going to be my gig for life, and I'm going to live like this, and I'm going to fly all over the world and whatever. Well, you're in entertainment. You know, even movie stars sometimes don't have a career that spans 20 to 30 years where they're making $1 million to $10 million a year. It just isn't realistic, right? So what really makes me sad is that a lot of these younger kids aren't continuing with college. You know, they're not getting college educations. They're not working in a work field and working themselves up. They're not getting any real world experience. Really, all they have is experience with social marketing and making videos that get a lot of views. And while that's great, and I love it too, to be part of that and to see that happen to those people, what happens tomorrow if this is gone? You know, it's like one day Vine was there, the next day Vine was gone. You know, I think there's a lot of that. You know, I think cable television as we know it will be obsolete 10 years from now. I think that's a lot of what's going on with YouTube right now, is that, you know, I think YouTube will, I mean, Netflix has taken over the world. Let's just be for real. Streaming video, Hulu, all that kind of stuff. People are getting rid of their cable and they're just using those. So streaming video is going to take over the world in the next 5 to 10 years, right? And it's interesting because Mark Cuban of DirecTV, he predicted this like 5 or 10 years ago. I think 10 years ago, he predicted this, that this is what was going to happen, that streaming video was going to take over. Well, you better have a bit better gig than just talking about, you know, stalker stories and crazy shit that's happened in my life, or parodies and whatever. I mean, you better have a greater plan, which is why I think you see some of these bigger YouTubers developing a style that looks very much like reality television, which is sellable to the masses, or they're putting together scripts, or they're writing small movies, and they're doing things like that, because what they're realizing is, if I'm going to get a following, if I'm going to remain relevant on YouTube, on streaming video, I'm going to have something to sell. And that's not going to just be getting up and telling a 5 to 10 minute video of something crazy that happened in my life, okay? One of the things that I think is happening, and I adore Tyler Oakley, but his channel has not been doing really well the last couple months, and I've kind of followed the steady decline, and I don't know if that's because there's a glitch on YouTube for him or what's going on. But I do have to believe that what happened with Tyler Oakley was that when he started his channel, he was in college. And I think it came out of him talking to his friends across the country. And the majority of his followers were probably 4 years younger, 4 years older, that were in college that related to him, right? Well, if you look at that span of 4 to 8 to 10 years of those people being in college, they've aged out. A lot of them are not watching the same videos that they watched 10 years ago. They're now watching makeup videos or style videos or DIYs of how to do things at your house. Like, they're not wanting to get on YouTube anymore and watch Tyler Oakley. And so to stay relevant, you have to continue to grow with the people that you're with. And I think that a lot of times advertisers think about that. Like, who's relevant, who's not, who's going to make me the most money. Because at the end of the day, for YouTube, for advertisers, for businesses, not creators, and it should never be, it's all about the Skrilla, baby. It's all about the money. How much money is my business going to make? And if my business isn't going to make any money by being on this ad or by this YouTuber, then I'm not going to have my ads on there. And if businesses can't dictate what videos their ads go on, they probably are going to pull. And I think really what we'll see the future of YouTube being is more management companies and more advertisers working directly with YouTubers deciding what ads go where. And I don't think that they will so much, you'll just see the same ad on 50 YouTubers. I think you'll see different ads on different YouTubers because I think advertisers, businesses will work directly with the YouTuber and have more, like sponsored businesses, just like you would go to a normal business here, anywhere else. I think that's really going to be the wave of the future because I think that really what's happening is that this is all becoming more mainstream. And that's a really exciting thing, for those of us out there that are just starting our career on YouTube. Like, if we do ever make this a career, because I just am in it for the love and the passion of it. But for those of us that, I would love for it to be my career. I would love at 70 years old to be the old man of YouTube because everybody calls me that already. So if this ever became my career, I would love that and to be at the wave of the change. And change is good. We need to embrace it instead of resisting it. So I love you guys. Please subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you're subscribed and that the notifications are turned on. I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.